In this video, we're going to explore some habits that could be keeping you broke and poor, based on the ideas of legendary investor Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is known around the world as one of the most successful rich men in the world. His fortune was built over a long time as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, amassing a net worth of $98.2 billion. However, what is even more impressive than his wealth is his prudence and how his financial mindset works. While many people struggle financially to accumulate some capital, Warren uses his tactics and is able to identify profitable opportunities, negotiate deals, and invest wisely. Although it may seem that there are not many secrets left, when it comes to accumulating wealth, amazing habits have allowed the Lord to accumulate so much capital in such a short period. Here are some financial habits that keep most people poor and bankrupt, and if you identified with the video, watch until the end to get rid of these habits. It is common for people around the world not to have control over their money. And if you don't have a budget base, you will possibly be hostage to many situations. Uncomfortable and undesirable. Not investing your money wisely and just throwing it blindly into savings accounts are bad financial habits that can also in turn lead to financial stress and difficulty paying your bills. Accounts. If you don't start with the basics, which is having a personal expense spreadsheet, you're already making a mistake, because you, without realizing it, ends up losing money and is unable to make a financial control of their own accounts. A common and frequent habit in the lives of the majority of the population is to end up eating more often than you should. In addition to causing serious problems for your health, it also affects your pocket, as well as buying unnecessary items simply because are on sale. Although something may be on sale, it does not necessarily mean that you need the product in question. This is a very common mistake that makes us act on impulse. It is important to remember that just because we are offered tempting offers and promotions, this ends up messing with the reward system in our brain. Another frequent and worrying mistake is that many people do not have an emergency reserve, and you must ask yourself, why should I have an emergency reserve? I am cautious with life and I analyze every step I take. Well, of course we can control what is within our reach most of the time. However, tomorrow is uncertain, and let's assume that something happens to you or someone close to you. What will you do? Who will you turn to? Will borrow from banks paying high interest rates? I believe it is not a good option, so think seriously about creating an emergency reserve for yourself. Wanting to live a life outside your current standard is another very common mistake. We always want to show people close to us how important we are, and we end up making the mistake of being superficial. The great truth is that we do like to feel good, but if your life is not financially stable, this is one of the points that makes you go downhill, because spending your budget based on things that do not fit your budget tends to increase your financial debt even more, making everything turn into a snowball. Therefore, before wanting to increase your standard of living, start acting wisely so that your money earns more and consequently you can enjoy the best things that life gives us. Unnecessary expenses with credit cards are more common than we imagine. The indebtedness and high interest rates that banks charge monthly for the use of credit cards is surreal. The feeling of having a renowned card and the status that it causes in the social environment makes many choose to use this purchase system that is increasingly inserted in society. But the big question is, how should we manage and use the credit card in the right way? Because if it is used in the wrong way by buying superfluous things, you will probably enter the wheel of debt accumulators, and everything you do in your work will be destined to pay the high debt rates of your card. Make a analysis and eliminate unnecessary purchases on your card statement, as your credit card can be a huge ally for you as long as you use it correctly. You've probably heard that phrase, live as if there's no tomorrow. This is a metaphor that many people take into account, especially in financial terms, where they spend and don't think about the future. And if we take into account that in our phase as an elderly woman, we must be extra careful in terms of health, the financial factor also comes into play, Because if at the moment there is no plan to retire when you are old, you could definitely be fated to live a very limited and worrying life when you are old. Just look at statistics these days and see how many elderly people suffer from being alone and often without having a family presence to support them. And as at this age, illnesses and health problems are more common, in addition to low autonomy in many simple things from day to day. The phase in which we should live well and rest will end up becoming a burden on ourselves. So think carefully about these words, and if you don't have a retirement plan, start planning as soon as possible so as not to live a limited life in the elderly phase. Another common mistake is to stop in time, but not literally, but in the sense of not developing with each passing day, whether through courses or being self-taught, because on the internet there is a lot of knowledge to be added to our lives. Not having perspectives and goals to be achieved can make us fall into the metaphor of the rat race, where all the system wants and desires is for you to wake up early, work, spend and rest, without questioning anything and living a peaceful life from day to day. If you want to stand out from the crowd, what will you do differently? A new course? Invest and diversify sources of income? Well, the awakened ones who woke up and can see life more broadly did this consistently and persistently. Know that investing in yourself is a way of getting to know yourself better, as several areas of your life are influenced through the knowledge acquired, making you a wiser and more intelligent person, making you leave the average population and stand out, who knows, maybe even become a positive influence for others to be inspired by and awaken their repressed talents and dreams. Think about your goals or create a new project inspired by Warren Buffett's advice. Now I want to hear from you what you have to say about Warren Buffett's advice. Comment below, and if you liked this video, subscribe to our channel to receive more weekly content. Until the next video.